What are the keys to becoming the millionaire next door? Yes, folks, I don't know if you've read this book or seen this book, but it is a wonderful one written. It's actually called The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. I was actually lucky enough to interview William Danko on this channel in 2020, and I have an autographed copy. It's one of my treasured things. So, William, thank you for doing that. But Casey, let's talk about the millionaire next door and what it takes to become one.
I love this, Michael. This is so underrated. You know, people go on, they watch celebrities in Hollywood and they follow these massive influencers with Lamborghinis and flashy vacations and hilltop Mountain View homes. That's not really what wealth is. We shouldn't really aspire to be the Grant Cardone with his own private jet and an airline or whatever he has. Rich people, stealth wealth, the millionaire next door, they're everywhere. They're all over the place, you know. And like we were talking about earlier, and I didn't mention this exactly, but there is a guy down the street from me, and he drives around in his golf cart in our neighborhood. He wears jeans with holes in it, ragtag shirts. He's got a scruffy beard, and he's always holding a Budweiser. This guy has millions of dollars, and you wouldn't even know it. And I'm sure people walk by and they judge him. Look at that loser. Look at that guy with holes in his jeans, whatever. But he is, you know, living his best life. He's made the right choices, and he doesn't feel the need to own an airline or have flashy vacations or or rent a Lamborghini to show off, to show people that he's wealthy. That's not really what wealth is. And I do feel like a lot of people are misled by millionaire status and what that really means. There's millionaires all around us, and they might even be right next door.
Yeah, it's funny. If you haven't read the book Millionaire Next Door, give it a read. It came out like 30 or 40 years ago, so it's an old one, an oldie but a goodie. I read it about once a year, and maybe once every other year. But there's a couple of keys to the Millionaire Next Door that I think just blow people's brains. The first one is, it's not about the and then more than 100 grand. It's one of those oddities in life. And there's a game by Robert Kiyosaki called the cash flow game that I will play anybody. You want to come in, be a doctor or a lawyer, and I'll be a janitor or a policeman. I'm going to clean your clock, because it's not about the income. It's about covering your lifestyle, which is simply cheaper to do as a janitor than a doctor. And, you know, it's not about the income. Was the big eye-opening thing for me in The Millionaire Next Door. That's my first one. What else do you got?
There's a lot of ways you become the millionaire next door. I mean, and one of them, which I think people don't think about, but it really is multiple streams of income. You go to school your whole life thinking, I'm going to get this one job that's going to save it for me. The one job that's going to take me from here to here, that's going to help me climb the corporate ladder, that's going to get me to my millionaire status, it's going to set me financially free. The one job. You go to school for the one job. Oh my God, that is so wrong. And even more so nowadays with the expenses we have. I mean, the income to housing price ratio. I mean, we can't afford what my parents could afford and my grandparents could afford for housing. We have to think outside the box. We have to think in multiple streams of income. You know, like I have my coaching company. We have real estate investments, rental income, right? We have my husband's job still. So that's three things right there that we have. Other people have other things. They sell ebooks. They will fix up and flip furniture, flip cars on the side. You can think in multiple streams of income, and that can be investing in syndication or investing in brokerage accounts and, you know, getting a dividend all the time and returns on your investment. Having multiple streams of income is key. And the biggest key is to not have them all take up all your time. There's only 24 hours in a day. So you can't possibly work multiple jobs. You can work one job maybe, or two if you want to beat yourself up to death, but you have to think of other ways that your money can work for you without you having to work for it, without having to trade your time for money. I think that's one huge key that millionaires next door have mastered is, how can I make extra money without trading my time for it?
Yeah, the other thing I think the Millionaire Next Door does really well, and it kind of goes back to your example of the guy in the jeans in the golf court just enjoying his life, is they don't have this thing called lifestyle creep. And again, I fell for it just like everybody else. I got my first big boy job and I went out and bought my first big boy car. The problem was the job was 40 grand and the car was 50 grand. And, you do that all on debt. Lots of people just keep continually trading up their lifestyle for the next this, the next that. And you're just getting in a bigger rat race, right? That's the thing about the cash flow game that's really funny to me is it literally is a wheel. And the problem is the more income you make, the bigger the wheel becomes, and it just becomes harder and harder to turn that wheel. And heaven forbid you lose your job or something else happens, and it just crumbles around you. So the key to being a millionaire next door is to be comfortable with your lifestyle. It's funny. I just talked to Cody, who's a 25-year-old real estate investor who started at 18. And he told me something that shocked me. So Cody has gone from 0 units to almost 200 and was killing it for a long time. And, he could have done what lots of 20-year-olds do, and that is go buy the Lamborghini, go do this, go do that, which if he did, he would have busted out. But the kid lives on $2,000 a month still. You know how easy it is to live on $2,000 a month when you're making 100 grand? It's really easy. Right?
Amazing.
So again, great, Cody, great head on your shoulders. Certainly, he made a choice that I wouldn't have made. I was the idiot that went out and bought this big fancy car. So he's clearly smarter than I am. But that's how you become the millionaire next door. Cody is the millionaire next door at 25 freaking years old. Crazy.
Yep. And on that, if Cody wants to keep his money and not pay Uncle Sam, right? Here's another trick to millionaire next door. You have to learn how to play the tax game, the IRS game. You have to learn tax strategies, right? People complain that the wealthy aren't paying their fair share because they pay zero income tax. They're following the rules. They're following the rules. And every one of us can follow the rules too. And if you don't want to pay Uncle Sam 40%, 40% of what you make when you're in that high income tax bracket, you have to start opening up other business. You have to buy real estate. You have to utilize, cost segregation, which I hope comes back, in 100%. I don't know. Yeah. Haven't heard about that. I'm hoping.
It's funny you bring that up because Cody has a 6-figure tax bill due. He's 1031ing out of an old, tired 6-unit, buying a brand new construction 6-unit. I think I got those right. If not, go watch the video. Went live yesterday at 4:00. Cool. And he's going to do a cost seg. And bingo, bango, tax liability goes bye-bye.
Yeah. So you got to learn all the things. And this is what the millionaires next door are doing. They are understanding how money works, and they're realizing that you can't just go work an 8 to 5 job forever, save your money and become wealthy. That's a trap. That is a trap. It's a plan to trap, in my opinion. And that's the way to keep you down and to keep you under the government's thumb and always working, never really realizing your true potential. So we have to get out of all these mindsets that we all grew up with. And we have to realize that there are other ways to make money besides going to work, right?
Yeah.
Utilize your job to save, to create wealth. Don't get into the habit of lifestyle creep. Don't fall into name brands. When I was in college and I was a server and I made really good money serving in college, right? I was into purses and shoes. So I would buy all sorts of brand name purses and high heels and stuff like that. And now, I do have a couple little nice purses, but I use them all the time, and I've earned them. But for a long time, I was wearing Forever 21 purses. I was over the expensive stuff. And it's like, I don't need to buy name brand, this, that, or the other to feel wealthy. And, we had a friend, she moved out of state, but they lived down the street from us. They were good friends. And her daughter was into, have to buy Lululemon and the Stanleys. And she's like 10 years old, have to have, these special shoes and all this name brand. And my daughter's like, realizing that's not what we do in our family. But she's like, well, she's got all this stuff. I was like, that doesn't mean they have money. Yeah. A lot of poor people spend all their money on name brands to feel to have the appearance that they have money when in fact they don't.
No,
They're
it's
in
it's
debt.
it's, it's funny. Right in the beginning of the Millionaire Next Door book, uh, there's a phrase that I did not understand as a 20-year-old, but now I understand. And the phrase goes, "Big hat, no cattle." Basically, what they're saying is, yeah, you may have all the flash, the hat, but you don't got any assets, the cattle, to really fund your lifestyle. So don't be big hat, no cattle, Lululemon, Stanley, all that stuff. That's a big hat. You don't want that. You want the cattle. You want the assets.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I would say the biggest thing too for people that are obviously watching your channel, Michael, because they want to be wealthy, they want financial freedom, they want it through real estate. The biggest advice is to stay consistent, right? Markets are going to go up and down. Your income is going to go up and down. Your family life is going to go up and down through ins and outs and depression and times of happiness and elation. Don't give up. Right? Don't let any one event or whatever bring you down to say, I give up. You have to stay consistent. Life is a wave. It's like a vibration. It's a wave. You're going to have ups and downs in everything. And I think the key to being wealthy is to staying consistent throughout all the hard times.
Oh,
Not
I love
giving
all
up.
of that. Folks, at the end of the day, the Millionaire Next Door is a thing. It is something you should frankly probably aspire to. It is something that is out there for all of you. It's not an income thing. It's a disposable income and assets, multiple streams of income. Don't do the lifestyle creep, all of those amazing things. Casey, where can people follow you?
People can follow me on YouTube, Brick by Brick Wealth, where I put out videos every Wednesday, and Instagram as well, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Thank you so much.